Okay, so I decided to do number 2 in the choices, and that's like comparing Cassius and Brutus and contrasting them and like discussing their strengths and weaknesses. So, comparing them, even though these men are on the same side, I found that they had very few similarities. But, like, for one, they're both courageous. Like, when they assassinated Caesar, they both would have had to have a tremendous amount of courage, like, in order to execute this and, like, go, like, against Rome in this, I guess you could say. Secondly, they're both proud men. Like, Cassius is pretty free about expressing his pride. Like, he has no downfalls with it. He just doesn't mind doing it. And like Brutus, like he displays his pride when he gives a speech after Caesar's assassination. So like he's obviously proud of what he's done. Next, they are both conspirators up against Caesar. Like they both fear that Caesar is going to become king and like rule Rome, and they both don't want that to happen. So they have that desire to make sure that like it doesn't happen. And lastly, they're both murderers. Like they both were a part of Caesar's assassination. And all on top of that, neither of them really felt bad about it. Like they didn't feel any remorse, or like they didn't feel like they should have done anything differently. Like they felt that they were doing it for the better of Rome. So like contrasting them, Shakespeare illustrates Brutus as like a noble guy, and like he is always wanting what is best for the public, hence why he wanted to kill Caesar. Like he wanted to do that like to protect Rome from what would happen if he was ruler. Whereas Shakespeare kind of illustrates Cassius as like very selfish, and like he's doing the same things but not for the same reasons, and he's doing it for him and like for selfish reasons. Next, Brutus thinks deeply and like hard about his actions and words. Like he really plans things out, and he thinks about what he's gonna do before he does it, and like what he's gonna say before he says it. Whereas Cassius like lets his emotions influence his thoughts and actions. Like he really decides things, and he is really good at persuading people to do what he wants them to do. Like for example, he really persuaded Brutus to like join the conspirators and go up against Caesar. So I found Brutus to be like really shy, and Cassius to be like quite open about his opinions. Like I found Shakespeare really illustrated scenes where like Brutus is often seen alone and like with other people, or actually like not really with other people. Like he has scenes where it's just him, whereas like when he does mention Cassius and like involves him in the play, there's usually someone with him and there's like action going on. Like he's never usually alone. Like he's quite open, and he's really, I don't know, like he's just there with a bunch of people. Next, Brutus has like reasoning that he wants to do whatever is best for Rome. Like he actually has ideals, and like he has plans, and there's reasons for what he does, and he's really philosophical, you could say. And then Cassius is kind of manipulative, and he like puts together a bunch of schemes. Like he throws letters into Brutus's house and like manipulates him into thinking that Rome wants him to go up against Caesar. Next, Brutus is really honest, and Cassius is for the most part dishonest. Like I could use the same example as the last one. Like he throws letters into Brutus's house, making him believe that it's from the people of Rome. And lastly, I found like that a lot of people like Brutus, and like he's just a more likable person, and he's easier to be around. Whereas like Cassius is kind of raises a red flag. Like for example, when Caesar sees him in the crowd, he's like, I don't like him. I don't want anything to do with him, and so on. Like he just isn't liked as much. So for strengths and weaknesses, like I find Cassius to be really brave and intelligent. He's like one big thing that I really took away from his character is that he's a really good and inspiring talker or speaker. He gets people to do what he wants them to do, and he's really good at like manipulating and kind of like finding those loopholes where people would change their minds. For his weaknesses, I find he's very selfish and he wants to run the show, but like Brutus is above him in a way, and he looks suspicious to others. Like he's people don't like him, and he's got that weary look that kind of raises a red flag in everyone's minds. So for Brutus, his strengths are like he's highly intelligent, like he knows a lot about what he's talking about, but he's admirable because he really is like he values the future of Rome more than like his friendship with Caesar. People like and respect him. Like, obviously the conspirators are like with him, and he wants to like make a change. So like he gets them on board with that. He's noble and like he's an idealist. Like he has ideals and he has plans and he has really good reasons for it. Like his intentions are really good and he wants what is best for Rome. So like he's willing to do whatever. Lastly, he's like caring and like knowledgeable. He has great love. Like that's one thing that was really admirable about him was he really wants what is best for Rome. So his downfalls, like his weaknesses, are he lacks common sense. Like I felt he was kind of naive in some of these situations. And he is the leader of the conspirators, but I feel like he lacks some leadership skills. Like he lets others speak more. Like he's not very really forward with his ideas. Like he doesn't lay it out on the line, which I guess you could argue is a good leader because you're letting input from people around you. But I also found him to be like psychologically weak. So like he lets Cassius kind of manipulate him and like get him to do things. But like one last thing about Brutus for like his strengths are that he really like loves Rome, like, and I feel like he sees the good in people. Like he sees that they want to do good things. Like for example, Antony, when he lets him flee and take Caesar's body like to the funeral, he really sees the good and he thinks Antony's going to do the right thing, and that's really admirable in some people. So moving on and like discussing what man would be better for the job. So for a soldier, I think this one is debatable because both of these characters could be soldiers. However, I do think that Cassius would be the better soldier because he seems like the character to like get the job done. He would not hesitate to do the things that are hard, such as killing someone or like going behind the scenes to lie to someone. However, you could also argue that Brutus would be a good soldier because he likes doing what is best for the people, and he would like look out for his fellow soldiers. Like he wouldn't be selfish about it. He'd want what is best for everyone. So, secondly, like the politician, I think without a doubt that Cassius would be like the better politician in this situation. Once again, he would get the job done. He would lie if he had to, and he's very good at like manipulating and persuading people to do what he wants. He's like a smooth talker. So lastly, the citizen. I think Brutus would be the better citizen because, like, think about it. If you could choose to have a city full of people like Brutus or a city full of people like Cassius, who would you want? Like, you would want more people to be intelligent, caring, and, like, admirable like Brutus, I think. Like, you'd want people that have good intentions and want what is best for everyone. So I just think that's what you would want, and that's what is best. So, yeah, thanks for listening.